Well, hello, fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live, our first live episode of 2019. So for those who have been living under a TSTO rock for the last 2 years, my name is Alyssa, your resident head addict. And my co-hosts this week are the AARP spokesman himself, Patrick.
Yes, 2019, the year I turned 65, and I'm on the government dole, baby. I love it. Bring those government bucks I paid for all those years.
And the everything is awesome Wookster.
Yeah. Woo!
So, Happy New Year, boys. Is it still okay to say Happy New Year 19 days into January of 2019? Is that still appropriate? I haven't seen you, so I saw Pat, but
this feels like the longest month of the year already. I mean, it's like I can't believe there's still a week and a half left.
If people could celebrate their birthdays like plus and minus 30 days, you could say Happy New Year when it's still January.
When did that happen, by the way? My daughters are like that. My youngest daughter particularly, it's like, it's Maddie's birthday month. It's like, no, it's not. Your birthday's this day. You know, get over it. I think it's because she's the only August birthday. We have lots of November. So
yeah, that's our house. But I don't like my birthday, so I'm okay with it just being a day. I don't need to celebrate a month. So.
Hey, I'm at the age now where every birthday is a miracle. So,
anyway. I'm still alive. So everyone have a
year is a miracle.
I haven't seen you guys, so everyone have a good Christmas. We haven't had a show since before Christmas, so everyone have a good Christmas.
You know where I was. Full baby immersion.
Well, for Christmas, you were at the movies. I know that, but
yeah, we did Christmas. It's like we split the country in half. So for the Christmas and then the preamble right before Christmas, it was the West Coast family with Allie and her husband coming up. I have to remember to keep saying husband, not boyfriend or fiance. Husband, Allie, Ryan, and then Maddie came down and Josh came down, and we were all a big family. And then 2 days later, we hopped on a plane and did it all over again for 13 days out in New Jersey land.
And no one talks like that.
I know. I'm throwing people off.
Where Pat had everyone in his family and extended family convinced that I was part of the mafia. So yeah.
We're still not sure. You got reservations at a place that doesn't do reservations. I don't know.
I made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Alyssa's father is very successful in sanitation. Get that straight.
He does have a wood chipper.
There you go.
Well, did you have a good Christmas?
I did. Me and Heather saw a double header on Christmas Eve. Like we were teenagers. It was fun. And kids got stuff, and Disneyland was open. Surprise, surprise. And
Is doubleheader code for something, or does that mean 2 movies?
2 movies.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Double feature?
I never double feature. Yeah, he said the double header. It was Christmas Eve. I'm like, baseball season's over.
I kind of had that thought, but then I figured he meant movies.
Okay. All right.
I'm not going to talk about my private on the show. Come on.
It's a family show.
He's talking like people in New Jersey. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
We don't have an E rating for the or an explicit rating, I should say. So there's no E after our title. So we got to keep this family friendly.
Spoiler alert, addicts! All of us have children.
Oh, dear Lord, I had sexual relations.
And if you pay attention to the end of the New Year's episode, the bloopers, you would hear Patrick's reference to that. So yes, while this is our first live episode of 2019, we did have an episode 2 weeks ago, our 2018 year in review, so we can safely put 2018 to bed. No more talking about the event that I hated and despised more than any other event I've ever seen in this game. And we can move forward and talk about 2019. And 2019 started with a great event. So we're going to start right now with your regular reminder. The show is meant to be interactive. So if you're watching this live, ask your questions, share your thoughts in the comments below us here. Again, that's only on our site, TSTO Addicts. There are no live comments on YouTube because have a hard enough time following the comments on Addicts, let alone trying to follow the YouTube comments as well while we're doing this. So share your comments on the TSTO Addicts page under us here, and we will make them part of the show. So take a minute, answer the poll question about the first event of 2019, which is also below us here, and that's for Not Yet Spring Cleaning. We want you to rate it, letter grade, A to F. Obviously, there is no E in there, so really it's A, B, C, D, F. There's no pluses or minuses, Pat, so you don't have to give me a hard time. So,
Ooh, they could rate the E for explicit.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we do have a lot to cover today because we haven't been together in a while. So before we get into talking about Not Yet Spring Cleaning, I want to talk about something kind of exciting that happened last night. We got our event packet from EA, our little teaser.
John.
It wasn't on anybody's radar, I will say. I mean, sometimes we get it late, sometimes we get it early. It wasn't on anyone's radar because I didn't think we were going to get an event this soon. I thought we'd have a week of nonsense next week, and then we'd get an event. So I was pleasantly surprised when that hit while I was eating dinner last night. And I immediately sent a text to Pat and talked to Joe, and Saf responded. So we were all pretty amped up about this. It is always exciting when we get to know what's coming before it comes, well before it comes, which is always exciting. So we're able to give you guys a little bit of information, but not a lot because we are still under the NDA. So
the irony of the timing of what we're saying here is hilarious.
It's kind of amusing. Yeah.
It's like we leaked it, but we can't leak it, and now basically we have to refute everything that we thought we were leaking. So no, we're done. Let's just have this conversation tomorrow.
There is no fake news here, guys. So
yeah, okay, true.
We only give you information that we are aware of, and that's why we are very careful about what information we give you. But so we can tell you that the next event will start next week, which is something, like I said, none of us thought about that. I don't think it was on anyone's radar that we'd be getting a major event next week. So it is another major event. This particular one, and as we've done with the last several events, we're able to give you the theme. This particular one will be Valentine's Day, which is something I'm very excited about because we haven't had a true Valentine's Day event since 2014.
Sounds like another double header for Joe, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's kind of funny though, because when I was thinking yesterday, like I was getting ready to do the show and we were going to talk about what we might think would happen coming up. I was kind of thinking it'd be great if EA gave us a Valentine's Day event because we haven't had one really in 4 years. So it's weird that we could say we haven't had something in TSTO in 4 years. That just seems like a long time. So I'm pretty amped for this. I mean, you guys have any thoughts about the fact that it's Valentine's Day and anything else? And you might be able to hear Riley screaming. She's not napping right now. She's just yelling at everybody.
That's what I keep hearing. It's the best.
She doesn't stop talking. She's like her mother.
Like Alyssa is currently broadcasting from the Brown House where the souls of small children
yes, this is exactly right.
I've lured them in with hard candies and their souls being zapped.
So yeah, I think it's going to be great. I mean, here's the problem I have is that getting too excited is that the last time we got all amped up over something, we ended up regretting getting amped up. So I'm gonna kind of play it even right now. I really like what I see a lot. It looks like a lot of fun if they pull it off the way they say they're going to. And by golly, there's a really super secret thing there that we can't talk about that everybody's going to want to have if it works.
Hint: your souls will be sucked. Oh no, wait, that's the wrong event.
Yeah.
If this goes off as the details say, in the end, your soul won't say it sucks.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Like it has been a moment since like I heard details of an event where I actually was like, whoa, wow, whoa.
So,
yeah. I'm like tempering my like excitement because I'm like, no, I've been burned before. So,
you've been burned before.
I can't say that it's not a spoiler, but there is a time where I said, hey, this is what should come into the game, and this is a lot of some stuff I said.
This is a very Wookiee event.
We've been saying it for a very long time too on a couple of these things. I mean, a very long time. That stuff that just made sense.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, in fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here without diving ahead on your score sheet there, Alyssa.
I hope it's a strong limb, not a flimsy one.
I'm going to get yelled at.
I hope that limb's not from BuzzFeed.
No, we aren't going there. Remember? Anyway, the bottom line is that I think that EA is stepping it up because the Golden Goose Realty thing and this unreleased thing that's coming were both big deals that were really unusual and out of the blue. They were not things that we counted on or thought about or whatever. They're both really pretty cool. So anyway, people are going to enjoy it, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's two elements that are going with this. First of all, we said it's Valentine's Day, so a lot of you can kind of go back and look, and you can check. I would even suggest checking our own site and doing a search. We have a lovely little search tab and searching for Valentine's Day or what a Wookiee wants Valentine's Day, and you will see a ton of ideas Wookiee has come up with. You could even see some bracket battle stuff that has happened, and a lot of that stuff is coming into our game. So Safi's excited. Safi can't be with us today. He is doing something up in Toronto with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's assassinating the Prime Minister of Mogadishu. Yeah. I mean, he's
what?
For cancer.
I keep forgetting he's a spy.
Before we get Secret Service and all kinds of Mounties showing up at our houses, Safi is with his nephew today, doing something with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, his nephew.
So he emailed. He's excited about what's coming. Wook was very excited because a lot of stuff he had talked about is coming into the game. So like I said, I would suggest doing a search on our site. We can't outright tell you what's coming until it's actually hit, but we will release information as we can. But I will tell you, there's one element in this that's coming, separate from Valentine's Day, that is something that people have been requesting. This is what we're all excited about. People have been requesting this for a very long time. Probably since the game started, I would think. Right, Rook? Right, Pat?
Ironically, there was a hacker dude that had a tool that he had developed way back. If you remember Spencer, way back, Spencer had a tool.
Too much away.
Yeah, that's too much.
Spencer did lots of stuff.
That's too much.
Okay, you're right. Too much. Okay.
Too much spandex.
I wonder how many people even remember who Spencer is. That really dates it.
I wonder how many TSCR people remember spandex.
Spandex.
No, because remember, there was a moment where people from the interwebs ended up mentioned in the game, and it wasn't us, and that's sad. Although I did get put into the game as the dirt mound or whatever.
Actually, I don't think you really wanted to be mentioned on that thing. I have that thing memorialized, and those were not exactly friendly mentions. They were kind of shot. But then they were shots across the bra
and buried me. Remember?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Although that's straight from the show, but I'm like, oh, that does look like I'm dead.
yeah. I mean, the mentions in the game were shots across the bow. It was we know what you're doing. Stop it. So anyway.
We've been watching.
It's if you liked Christmas, you should like this. But if you didn't like Christmas, you're a monster. So
there you go.
Yeah. So I mean, we can tell you that this will be very similar to Christmas. So take from that as you will. There will not be snow, as far as we know. No snow. But there will be snow here today. If you'd like me to send you some, I'm more than happy to.
Well, no, thank you.
Yes, send me the snow.
I'll put it in a box and ship it to you.
We're getting pounded by the rain.
So everybody be prepared. It's going to start next week. After this event ends, I don't think it's going to be the same day though. So just be prepared next week. We'll make sure you guys have all the information you need to start it. But be very excited. Do some research, do some checking, find out your own information. But be very excited because Valentine's Day will be coming next week. So I'm pretty excited about that. But let's talk about this event we just had. What we were originally going to talk about before that stuff hit us yesterday. So the Not Yet Spring Cleaning mini event. just happened. It was pretty good. First mini event of 2019. I think everyone is pleasantly pleased with it. You guys, thoughts on the storyline? You think this is a lot of comments we had from the readers is that this should have been a Halloween storyline. This seems like it was a story for Halloween that just never happened, never developed. So they threw it into this mini event. So your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I think that lots of stuff that happens on The Simpsons could be Halloween, and you know, it's kind of good time to have Ms. Glick make an appearance. I just thought it was fine. It didn't bother me one way or the other. It's like if you tried to cram all the stuff into Halloween, which is one event, you'd miss a lot of fun stuff. I mean, but there's a lot of weirdness and evil that goes on in Springfield. So, you know, I mean, she takes children, she steals their soul. Okay, got that. Now we did the whole thing on Harry Potter. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's all the same. It's all magic. It's all weirdness. It's all metaphysical. I liked it. It was fun. And in the end, you know, she kind of had to adapt. Like, it's hilarious. There you go.
Look.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I sort of saw that and I was like, oh yeah, that could have been maybe back in Halloween. They had the idea of the 4-act like mini event thing, and then they decided to go with something else. Or I mean, there's more going on there too. You've got stuff with JG going with the Great Fatsby, and you also have the Mighty Pigs episode with Lewis Clark. So it's more than just Halloween. There's a lot going on there, and it was funny, and I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, frankly, the Lewis Clark thing was its own reward. I mean, that was well worth the donuts. It was funny. There was so many funny references to the whole "Where have I been? What happened to the town? I'm back now." Then he turns into basically, you know, a reincarnation of the Mighty Ducks. I mean, it was very clever, very very well done, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm very pleased with what EA's done the last 3 events, really, because Halloween really started this too. The dialogue has really been stepped up. They've really stepped it up with that. It seems like they're working well again with writers from the show, or the writers from the show have always been working there and finally give a crap again. But the dialogue's been really good. It's worth reading, which is why I've been posting it for the last 2 events, because it's really well done. The stories are funny. They're smart. They've got some jabs in there at various things that have happened over the course of the game, like Lewis Clark saying no one reads this stuff anyway. You know, I mean, those kinds of things are pretty funny. So I do appreciate that EA has really stepped it up with the writing, and I know that a lot of the writers from the show actually write for this as well. So they've stepped it up as well. So that's been really, really nice to see. You know, the storyline itself. Go ahead.
Too. I'm just saying it's gotten topical as well, where they slide in one line where it's much like the show. The show has gotten much more edgy again. Where they're like making a statement with 1 or 2 lines that you could slide by, but if you catch it, you go, oh. And that's the same way with the game. There's 1 or 2 lines they'll put in, or you just go, oh my God, okay. Well, I'm waiting for the crowd to go crazy on that, but no, they don't, because they just click through it. You know?
That's what I was thinking. Seriously, Pat, I was like, you know, the dialogue, like maybe a year and a half ago, was sort of like, but also the season of The Simpsons was sort of like, it's fun, but it's not as funny. And it was like about 2 years where you're like, oh, they're struggling, and then season 29, you're like, they're back, baby, and and then now,
Yeah, 30 is edgy as heck. I mean, it's really good, and it's just not as over the top as Family Guy and some of those things. It's subtle, but it's very specific, and I feel the same way about the writing in the game. It's good. It's good. I'm really enjoying
Monopoly,
it.
where you could still say Oriental.
That was funny. Anyway,
great grandpa episode.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So the storyline itself was pretty. I mean, it was interesting to see that. You know, it did seem a little Halloweenish, where they go into the house and get their soul sucked, but it really wasn't focused around that, I guess. So it may have just been like a throwaway idea, like, what if the brown house sucks souls? And then they kind of turned it into this for this event versus for Halloween, because it didn't really follow that same traditional format of like, we have to save the kids.
Right.
But it was still well done. I mean, it was funny.
Well, it was funny because the kids just acquiesced. It's like, okay, you can have our souls. I got to get out of here.
And Bart making the joke about, well, I've already done that once, so why not?
Yeah. So the thing was interesting is that it did put a challenge for me of where I put the house, because once the thing started stilting around, it's like, oh, well, I can't put this in downtown Springfield. So it did end up way off in my Camp Krusty / wild remote woods. So it kind of makes sense that it's haunted woods, I guess. I don't know. It was fun. Yeah.
All right, so what are your thoughts as far as the prizes are concerned? We got 3 buildings and 1 character with this, plus a character animation. But we had no decorations, which was good, because that was my complaint with Thanksgiving. We had a couple of decorations. I was like, really? Like, I get it, but this doesn't really work, so what are you going to do? So I'm pleasantly pleased with the buildings, although they seem a little disjointed. Well, Alice's house and the Brown house don't seem disjointed, but Springfield University seems a bit disjointed in this prize track. So
I'm wondering if they're going to do something with that. It is weird. I mean, it was interesting, and I had to, again, find a place that made sense for that. And disjointed, well, Alice's house has joints. It actually walks around. But anyway, no, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's really hasn't been a bunch of clinkers. And I don't feel like they're being super repetitive. That's the thing. I'd rather have less stuff than to have them just do remakes of the same old stuff over and over again. So, yeah, I'm fine. I think it was a good update in general.
I think, I mean, Springfield University in the middle, I was like, oh, that's a weird choice. However, it is a building that has been asked for years and years now. So I'm like, hey, cool, thanks. You're going to make people happy. And then, I mean, we haven't even talked about the best part about the thing anyways, which was something I spent donuts on. But yeah, like it's cool. On 2 new houses, I changed my suburban landscape, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of landscape has changed.
Yeah. I ended up, I think, eliminating another orange house and another white house, and so I don't have so many duplicates of the same thing, so I could fit the other houses in there. It's always nice to get new houses in Springfield that don't look like the other houses.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the original Brown house did the same for me. It replaced a couple of random repeaters. Back in the day when you wanted to have, 5 blues and 5 this and 5 whites, and then you had to figure out how to make them look good. Now I don't care. I want them to look good.
So we do have a. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just gonna say, like, the last 2 events I know have been good. They've got like my creative juices going, because when I'm watching Simpsons episodes now, I'm once again like, ooh, that would be cool in TSTO. Like, especially with like the latest episode with Springfield Heights stuff. I was like, hey, like, there's some ideas, and I haven't done that watching an episode in a while.
Yeah, hey, let's open that land up finally.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. We'll see. Maybe they'll do that this time.
So it's fun.
All right, so what do you guys think about Lewis Clark? I know we briefly talked about it. He finally makes an appearance. Again, it's a little weird for him. It reminds me more of, this event reminded me more of like your classic level update, where you had a freemium character in building, which is essentially what we got, some other freemium stuff, and then a premium character in building. And the two sometimes had absolutely nothing to do with each other. And that's kind of what this felt like. But it was nice to see Lewis finally in the game. We've had Wendell forever. Well, a year.
Yeah, you could take it out to the level of just saying the whole void thing, being lost in the void, whether your soul is being sucked or whatever. The void is there. These poor people are floating around. I just think it's hilarious that they are self-referential. Every time somebody comes back, it's like, what the heck? Where have I been? I've been stuck, And the dialogue actually explained it really well. So, for me, again, it didn't bother me at all, and I had a perfect place to put the ice rink. It's about time. Wendell's pretty cool. So.
You mean Lewis?
I mean Lewis. Hello. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah. And Wendell. I like all of them. I like all the secondary kids. So.
Yep.
Well, at least Lewis doesn't puke in a bucket. It's a little rough.
Yeah, true.
You leave Wendell alone, Liz.
It's a little rough.
He is gross.
Your thoughts, Walk?
No, I mean, Lewis Clark, that's great. Like, this, honestly, the second we got Wendell Borden, it was like, when are we getting Lewis Clark? And a lot of people were like, who's Lewis Clark? And now everybody knows. We're like, Yeah, like and then come on, diversity matters and representation matters, and now Carl doesn't have to like what Hibbard and Carl. Now there's more African Americans in our year Springfield. It's good.
I think it's all good, and hockey players too. Let's get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting that Lewis joined us roughly about a year after Wendell did, because Wendell, I believe, came with Bart Royale.
I don't remember that update.
So, you know, that...
Was that the casino event?
Yeah, with the casino. Wendell came with the casino event. Yeah, that's right. So it's nice, but it's interesting that's exactly a year later. So it kind of makes you think, well, who are we going to get a year from now? Will this game happen a year from now? Because I know a lot of you are thinking that because you write it in the comments and it drives me nuts.
And they've been saying it for 5 years, probably.
Yes. Almost 6. Yeah.
So, well, you know, I forgot to mention this at the top. We were talking about how EA stepped it up with the writing and everything. And that just means to some people, well, that means they're going to end this game because it's good now. So they're making it good so they can shut it down.
Hey,
okay.
If certain quarterbacks don't retire when they're at the top of their game, not gonna happen with the CSGO either.
It really comes down to again, we've talked about this before. Al G and the rest of the crew that are making money hand over fist at this point, and there's no reason for them to quit as long as the ratings are good, people are watching, and as far as the show, as long as the show's here, why not keep the game going? I mean, it is the core.
I will say, though, if I turn 40 and I'm still writing about this game, it may be time for me to stop. I'm just saying.
I turned 65.
Yeah, but it's different because you started when you were older. I started this when I was in my 20s. So,
friends, don't get scared because it still means we have like 9 more years of writing about the game. So.
Yeah, I'm not anywhere close to turning 40.
Actually, here, the good news is I can check out before the game checks out.
I'm closer to 30 than I am to 40. But I'm just saying, like, if this game's still going on, I may have to, reevaluate some priorities.
No.
But all right, so let's talk about everybody else's thoughts. So you guys, real quick letter grade for overall. I know there's an important element for spring cleaning, not yet spring cleaning, that we haven't talked about. We're going to get to that in just a minute. So don't, keep your pants on, please. We're gonna get there. But the overall,
we're supposed to wear pants.
I know Pat never gets that memo. So, but your overall thoughts as far as prizes, the premium character, even the box factory, you could throw that in there. That type of thought with spring cleaning. So your letter grade would be Joe.
A. I give it an A.
See, we can't do minuses or pluses, you said?
Well, you can if you really want. I just didn't put it in the grading system for the readers.
B plus for me because it's because of the thing we haven't talked about. It actually took a tick off.
Okay.
B plus is a California A.
Yeah, there we go.
So I'm gonna give it an A for
hold on. I have some news. Ready? Can you see that? Woohoo!
Hey.
Look at that.
We hit the goal, folks. We hit the goal. Woohoo!
Nice.
That's because I said I was giving it an A. The world must be like
boom, just like that. All right, good job. All right. Yes, I'm fine with a B plus or an A minus, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It was I liked it mostly.
So I'm giving it an A. Again, for the readers, we had the poll question. There was no pluses or minuses. We just went with straight A, B, C, D, F. To be a minute, I almost said E. So the readers gave it a B. 43.17% said B. 25.9% said A. 21.58% said C. 6.47 said D, and 2.88 said F. Those 2.88, I think you're going to hate anything that happens in this game.
Right.
But it's good
Maybe
to see.
F is for fantastic. Maybe they think the letter.
There we go. Yeah.
Well, I put in parentheses awful. I hated it. So.
Oh.
Well, again,
you can't make that mistake.
That's
silly.
But there's 68%, 69% loved it, which is great. I mean, that's an A or B. That's solid. So I think EA did well with this event.
The other reason you give it a B right now, though, is the first event of the year, and so this is the benchmark. So if you give it an A and then something's even better than this, Again, it's not the same. So I'm giving it. I'm hanging with my B+.
I reserve my right to change my letter grade when we do our 2019 year in review.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because it's okay. Putting it in comparison with this, then you rate everything else later.
You first start dating the event, and everything's great. They're perfect. It's fascinating. There's spark. There's romance. And then as the months go by, you realize that it wasn't exactly what you thought it was at the time. That's okay. That's called an experience.
They are not.
So
not what?
He froze. Pat, you froze. You said they're not, and then you froze.
Oh, they're not doubleheader worthy, I said.
Exactly.
All right, so let's do some reader comments before we jump into the next topic here. Amy says, I have really been enjoying this mini event. I consider it to be a regular, good standard mini event. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming next. My favorite parts of the mini event are that we finally got Alice Glick and Lewis in the game and Springfield University. And she says, I also really like the Golden Goose Realty, which we're going to talk about in a second. Building, even though I have quite a bit of land tokens, it's always nice to get more through the building, even though we got them through the mini and major events. And she wants to know where she can get the Christmas figurines that we have for our Christmas gifts. You can find them online. You just do a search for them, just Christmas Simpsons figurines. I don't want to tell you where I buy them because they're all retired now, so it's hard to get them. So I don't want to tell you where I buy them because then I won't be able to get them next year. So, but yeah, so you can just do a search on Google for them.
Alyssa's a planner. She's probably already bought like the next 2 Christmases and it's just sitting in a closet.
No, I should, but I didn't this year. Or maybe I will. Last year I bought them really early. All right, Dursters says, I've wanted to build a university campus for a long time with the buildings from the Magic event. Really happy to have the university building as the entrance, and having the Golden Goose is also allowing me to do big, long-awaited redesign. I do a middle-out redesign strategy where I slide everything east and south to open up the land in the middle. It's been a while since I've been able to shift, since I had to save up a lot of land tiles to do one row or column of shifting.
Okay.
Sandy Toes, I really liked that we got old school character and didn't require crazy crafting, etc. It was fun, good prizes, easily achievable, laid back mini event.
Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, everything's kind of freezing and weird. There's this weird old lady trying to give me candy.
Are you stroking out over there?
I smell bacon. No, go ahead. Or toast.
And Ebron, we got a lot of comments. I'm going to read more as we go along. But Ebron wants everybody to know that it's nice to have Wookie with us because he always brings lots of laughs. So that means, Pat, you and I were not funny. Just Wook.
I know.
No.
Ebron is the queen of offhanded comments. It's like
no, I think we have established that when me and Pat are together, there is a certain chemistry that does equal like extra laughs.
This is true. It is.
And the show goes like this, and then it jumps the rails every time. It's my job.
Ebron, I thank you, but it's not. I don't think it's just me. I literally think it is like, and Alyssa's like our stabilizer. Like she keeps us on the rails.
She's mom.
Like I said.
Alyssa is our monorail. She keeps us on the rails.
One rail.
I named the big one Bitey.
Right. So let's talk about Golden Goose. This was an interesting addition. Not one that anybody really saw coming. Kind of surprised by it because after a year of not being able to get land easily, all of a sudden EA said, "You want land? There you go. There you go. Take as much as you want. 150 donuts. You can get as much land as you want." What are your thoughts as far as Golden Goose Realty is concerned?
I've written about it. I just wrote about it in the filler yesterday. Brilliant, Cavalian, twisty stuff at its best. Because what we have is something that appears to be the greatest thing ever that actually just completely messes with your head. Because if you're really trying to do it for donuts, then you never know when to really pull the trigger. You know, does it change if they add more land? We'll find out. I don't know. If they give us more land in this update, that will answer a couple questions. But for me, as I pointed out, I have so much available land. It will take me half a year to use that tool to get all the rest of the land so I can even start collecting. Meanwhile, I'm just, wildly KEM farming, and I'm fine. But I thought it was great. And I love actually getting a bunch of these tokens because I have obviously a ton of land that has not been cashed in yet.
It's kind of funny because Pat's slowly freezing a little bit. So it kind of looks like we're watching a Japanese film dubbed in English.
I don't know what's up with my connection. We're getting a ton of rain here. And it may be that the connection's just flaky. I don't want to log out again. But
oh, yeah, no. We can hear you just fine. It's just the video. So it's kind of funny.
Cool. You really don't know what I'm doing now. Now I'm just going to mess with your heads. So, no, I think that the Golden Goose thing was a great addition. I love getting the land tiles. It takes out the whole moaning and complaining thing about people that want more tiles. It really is kind of a poke into the eye of the people that already had bought all the land or had no land left. That it's like,
no, there's still tons.
There's no way that you could have legally, within the rules of the game, acquired all the land. So the people who had all the land, I don't care if they get poked in the eye.
That's exactly right. I didn't want to say it that way. I didn't want to say it that way. I didn't want to say, yeah, the cheaters got busted. But yeah, it's funny. It is funny to me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because the only way to have all the land prior to getting, I mean, you could have gotten it all, sped up the Golden Goose Realty, which surprised me that there was an option to speed it up with donuts. I kind of was surprised just because so few buildings in Springfield actually have that option now. So I was surprised by that. I kind of get it. I kind of am still shocked by it. But so you could have gotten it after this building came out, but prior to that, there was no way. There's just no way.
The math, let's be honest about it. The math on spending donuts so that you can try and get enough so you can farm donuts with the Golden Goose, that kind of logic is insane. It doesn't work. It's just not, it makes no sense at all. I'm going to speed it up with all these donuts so that I can get more donuts maybe. Yeah, that's the thing that's Machiavellian, is the maybe factor, is that once you cash them in, you're done. You can't do it again. And until maybe they add more land. I don't know. I think it's brilliant. Well, somebody back at EA is laughing their butts off.
So
I don't think it's devious at all. I think it's great.
I was gonna say, what's your thoughts? Yeah, because you've been waiting.
Literally, I'm like, when I bought it just to buy it because I have everything. Literally, I had no idea what it did, and then all of a sudden I looked. I'm like, what's that little icon? And I was like, land token. It's the best around. Nothing's ever gonna bring me down. I was like, so Krusty Land happens, and I'm one of the people that had all the Krusty land, so I got a bunch of tokens, but I had expanded my town like almost all the way, and I was like, oh, I can finish getting these pieces, and then they made more land, and I was like, I will never be able, like, if I want to, and like getting more land actually makes me like finally like clean out my Springfield Heights dump area and design again. So, and like I've had this little strip where I've been meaning to move the capital city of monstrosities that I hate now, and like there were like 4 pieces and no event in sight to like get the land, and in just so it's every 12 hours, right? So in 2 days. I was able to buy those things and then like plop down, and I'm excited again. I'm like, hey, that's how I got my Harry Plopper land next to Krusty Land. Like I have my own little Universal subdivision theme park area that's connected to my Krusty Land. Come visit. Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity to expand a lot. The issue I still have, of course, is item limits, because with all that land now, I want to do a lot more designing, but I am, again, I'm bumping around. I'm 106 items off of the hard limit.
You're 106? I thought you were.
No. Yeah. That 3 a.m. thing was bad. I dropped zeros. I added incorrectly. It was bad. But yeah, it's the only way you can really figure out what the limit is to get that limit and then do like 100 and something little bits of something until you hit the hard limit and then do the math. But I kind of dropped a 0 and I forgot to add the 14 that I already had over here. So it was like crazy. But yes, I figured it out last night when I was actually lucid.
Patrick and math.
Yeah, Patrick. Yeah,
nobody said there would be math.
Stick to writing song, bud. Stick to writing
right. That's right.
So Sappy's the math guy.
It's true. Sappy's the math guy who is not a math guy. Go figure that one.
Yeah, Pat is the fun guy.
You're a fun guy.
I'm a mushroom head. Ah.
Did you hear about the mushroom who walked into a bar and the bartender says, "We can't serve you," and the mushroom says, "Oh, why not? I'm a fun guy."
It's a dad joke.
In our family, they're not dad jokes; they're Aunt Lissa jokes because I tell the corniest jokes.
Okay. Right.
I work on the Jungle Cruise. I approve of that joke.
Yeah, there you go. I got to tell my favorite joke again this week. I went and got a haircut, and when I come home, Deb says, "Oh, you got a haircut?" I said, "No, I got them all cut." Yeah. Butt it up.
What you got to do for the next year, Pat, is carry around a comb. And then when people go, "Why do you carry around that comb?" You're like, "Well, I've thought about throwing it away, but I just couldn't part with it."
Wow. That is bad. That is bad.
So you're welcome.
Back to the Golden Goose Realty. There is kind of an interesting. It's appropriately named Golden Goose because there is a golden goose conundrum in the sense that you have to, if you have a golden goose, you have to kill the goose to get the gold, and once you kill the goose, you can't get any more gold. So in this case, you ever heard about the golden goose?
What fable did you read? The one I read just laid golden egg.
No, that's the goose that laid a golden egg. Then there's the golden goose.
Oh, I didn't know the golden goose one.
So
that's macabre.
Wait, we've already said I'm Veruca Salt, so it's geeses. I want a goose who lays gold eggs for Easter.
And I want it now.
I don't care how. I want it now.
No, but seriously, with this building, you have that. When we talked about it, you can convert land tiles to donuts once you've purchased all the land. But once you've purchased all the land, you can't get any more land tiles. And once you convert all your land tiles to donuts, you can't do it again until they release more land. If they release more land, because there's no guarantee that they will. So it's
if it even works that way. We're not positive it even works that way.
If that's your plan, if you're not like happy enough to just get the building and be like, "Ooh, land tokens early."
Well, part of me thinks they did it that way too, because if you have all the land and then they still give the other thing is you don't know if they're going to give land tokens for events now. That's another. Actually, we do know because we have the prize list and I didn't even check. But no. So we don't know. No. Yeah, so there's no land token. Well, there might be. In fairness, the Christmas event said we weren't getting land tokens, and then we actually got land tokens. So
kind of. Here's the bigger question: when you looked at that map, what is that weird 3 quadrants blank free space?
They just it's land that they have that they didn't.
Three little dots of tile. That's weird.
There's a patch that they didn't put land in.
I think that's the vortex.
It's the black hole.
And then there's that little, like, literally our Springfield looks like Oklahoma. There's that little, like, skin tag up on the top right.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The
literally, like, our Springfield looks like Oklahoma wearing a weird top hat. Right? Because of Springfield Heights.
Wearing a weird top hat.
Sorry. No, maybe that's part of Missouri.
But seriously, well, there is a Springfield in Missouri. Missouri. But yeah, seriously though, so with the Golden Goose, you're kind of in this conundrum. Now, normal people, rational people who realize that it's probably not the smartest thing to do to rush to get all the land to convert land tokens to donuts when you can get donuts thousands of other ways in this game. It's kind of a throwaway that EA did. And I think they did it because if they give you land tiles for a future event, and we don't know if that's a guarantee either, then you can kind of, if you have no use for them, you can either save them or you can convert them as well, because a land token is a land token, whether it comes from Golden Goose or an event. But, kind of puts you in this weird, like, well, what do I do? How do I do this? And a lot of people in the beginning were freaking out because they were like, well, what do I do? what's going on? What if I do this? What happens? And I'm like, you guys have to realize that there's no winning at this game. Everybody's trying to overthink everything. There's no way to win. The best way to play is the way that works for you, because there's no like superior. If you for donut farm, you donut farm. If you follow Safi's method, you follow Safi's method because you like it. If you donut farm for blood mobiles, like we used to talk about, no, quote unquote old days, that's fine too. Like if you don't donut farm, that's fine too. Like there's no right or wrong way to play. So that's what's happening with this Golden Goose. They kind of put us in this, EA put us in this box. When you buy the Golden Goose Realty, you're kind of like, well, all right, I have these land tokens. I can either use them, save them, wait and see what happens. I can convert them. I can't convert them. It's like everybody kind of lost their mind a little bit. And it's kind of funny that it puts them in this.
Yeah, hence the Machiavellian.
Yeah.
Hence the Machiavellian. That is the beauty of something that has no answer, but appears to have an answer if you just keep staring at it long enough. There is no answer, because the missing link here is what happens next. If you cash in, are you done? Or does it start all over again when they add new land? If they add new land, that's a big map, and the question is, where's the new land going to come from? Is it going to be the Springfield Heights thing? I don't know. But my bigger question is, why is everybody in such a hurry? Why does everybody want to blast through and finish it to the next day?
I agree.
Like, man,
like
I'm going to take
seriously,
my time.
If my friends at the Church of Scientology have taught me nothing, it is that just enjoy the game, and some things don't complicate it. It's a building that gives you land tiles. If you spend the donuts, you get land tiles, and you use them to buy land. And there's no winning. If you win a game, the game is over. Do you realize that? The only way you win is for something to end. While it's going, you're playing. Like, right?
Well, that's the point. So the thing is, it's interesting, is that if it was just exactly what you said, it would have been very straightforward, no questions asked. This is the way they're doing land tiles. I love it. It's worth 150 donuts. Just do it. Stop talking about it, right? It's that little twist they added at the end of saying you can cash these in for donuts. That was like, oh my God, because the donut freaks went freaky. The donut freaks went absolutely nuts. How do I get them all? That could be 8,000 donuts for the year. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah,
but I don't know.
Let it go. That's my whole. I'm agreeing with you. It's like, let it go. Just take the land tiles, play the game, have fun. Stop. Please stop. You're torturing us.
Yes.
Stop overthinking everything, because there's no thinking.
Actually, we could probably blame for overthinking the overthinking just now, because we just spent 10 minutes overthinking the overthinking. That's okay.
Hey, I don't care. I got to mention Scientology.
You're holding cans as we speak right now, right? You got the cans in your hands.
No, that's why I wear my new hood. I'm going clear, friends. Oh, I told someone that at work. I said, they're like, you're drinking lots of water. I'm like, I'm trying to go clear. They didn't get it. Anyways,
you are incorrigible. Anyway, go ahead.
The other thought I have with this is, and especially kind of knowing what we know about what's to come next week, is EA being lazy and giving in to everyone as far as like with their ideas, like, well, everybody's asking for this, so let's just give it to them. Same with the land tokens. Like they spent this whole time with this land tokens. They cut off your ability to get land tokens. They minimized how much you could get at a time. And so our thought process was, okay, well, they're doing that because they're trying to slow you down. They don't want you to, because people were buying all the land. We need more land. We need more. It was like a constant thing. Like 2 weeks after an event, we need more land. 2 weeks into an event, people would ask for more land. Right. So there was that. And then they released this building that's like, okay, well, you can have land. And it was only 150 donuts. So it's like some people thought that maybe, well, they did that to convince you to spend the donuts. And I'm like, but it was only 150 donuts. It wasn't 500. Like if it was 500, I could see that. Well, they did that to convince you to do that. But I mean, are they just saying at this point, listen, whatever, we're just going to let you guys have whatever it is you want, especially considering what's coming up. Or are they providing some kind of test to see what we will do, what we will spend, where we'll go. Like,
So nobody,
Joe's like, you're overthinking it.
Nobody calls their parents lazy when they get what they want for Christmas. Like, wow, Dad, way to be lazy and got me that video game I really wanted.
No, but people call parents lazy when they give in to their children who are throwing a temper tantrum, and they give them whatever they want.
Giving into us because they're not adding, they added okay, yes, you can convert for donuts, but you could end up getting effed in the end if that's the way you do.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the donut aspect. I'm talking about the land. Like, they spent all this time not giving us land tiles.
Hold on.
And
I think they thought that was a good idea, and then they realized, they did the math and were like, oh my God, it's going to take so many events just to give them the land that's available now.
Let's remember one thing. Most of the real money is spent by new players or people that are somewhere in the first couple years, maybe. They're trying to catch up. They're trying to catch up with all of us experience. We have all this stuff. The downside of the land tile concept was that it really penalized the newest players. It was really hard to convert and make things work. So I think this is a fix. I think this is a way to say, look, our concept of the land tiles was flawed. We're going to give these things to you, and we're going to make this thing work for everybody, because now it gives parity to new players, old players, everything alike. And if you've burned up all your land, let's say you've been playing for 5 years and you've burned up all your land. It's like, okay, hey, tough luck. You have all the land. You can now try and play for donuts, whatever it is you think is important. But in the meantime, a ton of people are able to finally expand their Springfields much easier.
Yeah.
But that applies only if the Golden Goose stays in the game. As of right now, it is slated to leave on Tuesday when the rest of this stuff ends, because you couldn't see anything from this event unless you were level 20. So if you just started playing, you didn't. There were people who said, "I don't see any of this. What's going on?" I'm like, "Well, you have to be level 20." So if you just started playing, 2 weeks ago, you're not quite there, because it does take a little bit of time to get to level 20. You're not going to get the option to get this. And if somebody plays 2 weeks from now, they would never have seen this. So it all depends on that argument. Makes sense, but it only makes sense if this building stays. And right now, like I said, it's slated to leave on Tuesday. That doesn't mean it won't come back on Wednesday, or the timer is just wrong. But right now, that's how it's set up. So we have to kind of see. It's another thing where we just have to see what happens, because nobody knows.
So I guess it's just been so long. I have all the land. Is there still a pretty decent sized square that's money before it goes to land tokens, right?
Yeah, there's a
lot. Yeah. I mean, if you look at my map that I had on my filler yesterday, there is tons of money only land that I hadn't bought. Tons and tons. Most of the $1 million land I had put off and was buying with tiles.
The square that's for money is huge.
Yeah.
So okay.
Gigantic.
Yeah. You still get a really big Springfield if you just buy with cash. The land tokens, I think, go 7 out to 7 outwards past the ocean, that. The opposite end of the ocean. I know we're all very confused as to what's what, because you guys are from the West Coast, so to you that's the West. To me, that's
just turn the map the way it's supposed to be. Just do that, like that. Spiritual light story.
So technically, I guess if the ocean's the West, this would be the East. So there's 7 to 9 rows of land tiles that way, and then I think there's only 2 or 3 below.
2 or 3 on the bottom. Yeah.
So we'll have to. It's one of those things. The Golden Goose, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens as far as if they release more land, if it converts back to earning land tokens, if you can then still convert those tokens to donuts, if you get free land tokens with an event, if you can convert those to donuts if you already have all the land, and if they're going to release any more land, and then if the Golden Goose comes back with another event or just stays in the game after Tuesday. So it's kind of one of those things we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, unfortunately.
Okay. I like it.
Lots of questions.
To the readers who asked me to give them a heads up as to when we're getting more land so that they can convert everything, no, I'm not. Because we don't know. I don't know. So you guys have it's a total guessing game. You guys, if you want to buy all the land and convert and take the risk, you take that risk. I'm not taking that responsibility. So
yeah.
So that's that. Are we a couple? Just my yes man. We'll read a couple more comments and then we will wrap things up. Alex says, on one hand, it seemed like a very uneventful event. I didn't enjoy the story and was mostly something to keep me busy. On the other hand, I'm impressed Alice Glick was not in the game yet. It was about time. And I love the Springfield University building. And of course, Golden Goose Realty is that premium building too good to be true. So in the end, I got a not very exciting event, but actually incredible prizes. Nice. Now I'm hoping it takes at least 2 weeks to start a new event. No. Since I want to complete my remaining quests and develop my Springfield a bit further.
Wish in one hand.
Yeah, wish in one hand. Sandy Toes 74 says, oh, and I also love not needing Homer for stuff. I have him outside doing different stuff every 4 hours, tasks I miss seeing. So yeah, cheap thrills.
It is nice using a lot more characters. That's the thing I like about even what I saw in the upcoming event. There's a lot more characters involved, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And Ebron adds, I like the idea of adding Springfield University, but I wish there was more to it. It needs some additional matching buildings or some decor items like the Magic School. I really need to make a university area.
Stay tuned. It'll probably be the next mini event or something they have planned, because they'll do these feeder buildings, and then like later on you're like, oh wow, this has everything to do with that thing from then. Like, it's weird.
Right.
Exactly. All right, guys. Does anyone have anything they would like to add?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it, but the whole calendar thing when we have the multi-event thing, that goes weird. So I'm just warning people: the calendar may not be the calendar, may not be the calendar, but it could be a calendar. I haven't decided yet.
Just do like the weeks. Like
each one's a week. Each one's a week. But the problem is, and I'll just lay it out. The problem is that the first week goes through the entire event. The second week only goes through 3 weeks. Third week goes through 1 week, etc. So it's kind of hard to place where something goes, but we'll play with it when we get more math.
Yeah. So we teased in the beginning that if you liked Christmas, you'll like this event. Pat just full on said multi-event. So so yeah, this next event will follow the exact same format Christmas did, which a lot of us really liked. A lot of players liked because there was no end time. So you've got a week. Each week something new comes out, but you have more than a week to finish it, which is nice. So keep that in mind. We will post some information that we can as far as who you need to keep free, what you need to have available once we can. So look for that maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday morning. But be prepared to keep your characters free. Once this event ends, don't send any of your main characters on 24-hour tasks. I know a lot of you always do that, and I don't know why. You should never send characters on 24-hour tasks on a Tuesday or a Wednesday when you think an event might hit.
Yeah. I don't do 24-hour tasks anyway, except for about 3, because I'm farming.
But yeah, so it'll be Valentine's Day, which is really exciting. Really looking forward to having an event of something that we haven't really had in a long time. So it's great to see that coming back. The content looks great. You guys are going to love some of the features. Knock on wood, we hope. So yeah, we will post more about that, but look for it next week. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add beyond that?
Yeah, because I just finished it. I'll do my thing, and then we can close with a Wookieism, which I think is important. Close with
no, don't
I was just going to say the Bouija thing again. I can't thank you guys enough. You're amazing. This was a really short run. We didn't have very much time, and thank you ever so much. We will plug it in, get it off to Bouija, and we'll go from there. So thanks to all. You're great folk.
And our Wookiee.
We should end with doing awesome things for people in need in Africa, not with something stupid that I say.
No, we're done. We just did it now.
I mean, all I can think is, now that I think about it, I don't think Oklahoma is the state with the weird little dangly. I think that's Florida, and
Oklahoma has the panhandle.
It depends on how you turn the map.
Is that right? Okay.
So Oklahoma.
How you turn the map. You have to turn the map. Then
so that's the pot. I was thinking of the pot state, and that's Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's the one that looks like a pot. Yeah.
I know, but Florida is the dangle. Just saying. And I don't know, guys. Thanks so much. Like seriously, like Pat said, helping people that need help in the real world. We enjoy our digital world. It's great. Have fun. It's not about winning. It's just enjoying yourself. But yeah, like get out there and be somebody. Go clear. Help people. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys. So we will see everyone likely in 2 weeks, which is the Saturday before the Super Bowl. We'll see how that goes. But we'll talk about the next event in that process. And be sure to tune in next week for all exciting stuff hitting our games for Valentine's Day. All right.
Please beat Brady. Please beat Brady. Please beat Brady. Please. Oh, sorry. Was I saying that out loud?
Pat's rooting for the Chiefs. In case anyone.
I'm rooting for anybody but Brady. There we go.
Yes. As someone who was wearing his Chargers hoodie this whole time, Brady.
There we go. Yeah. That's
all right, guys.
Anyway.
We will see everyone in a couple weeks. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and again, be sure to tune in to the site next week. Well, read the site next week for exciting content from TSDO. We will see you guys in a couple weeks.
TTFN. Bye-bye.